We're just going to do a quick one on simplifying your meta accounts, specifically meta today. I know a lot of people are screaming and kicking about meta ROAS tanking, and it's probably the most relevant to D2C founders today. Turning it off completely may or may not be the best option right now. So in this video, I'm going to advocate for you guys to look at your meta accounts and simplify everything that you can and get as clear of a view on what you're actually getting out of what you're spending. As the simplest way to put it, it's more important that you know how much money are you spending with Meta and how many customers are you getting from them. That's the first question you need to be asking. A lot of times, most of the accounts we see, there are always too many campaigns, too many ad sets, and all sorts of different strategies going on all at once. And it's almost like somebody, implemented an initial funnel, tried to start some testing, and it's always somebody else comes in and changes it a little bit, forget about, what the previous account owner did. And I'm talking about for bigger accounts. And if you're like running your own account and you're just starting, this is a bigger problem which people aren't even going to recognize because no one else is looking at your account. You're making duplicated ad sets left and right. Everything is just targeting the same stuff, and you think that if you just duplicate what's working, it's just going to triple or 4x your results, but that's usually not the case. So when it comes down to it, most D2C brands are burning an additional $5,000, $10,000 a month just by increasing the complexity of their account. And there's no correlation between a more complex account, the amount of scripts you're running, the amount of processes you have in place, and your ROAS. It's just not the same. You can have 3 really good processes in place to cut ad spend, to check for overspending and fast spending, and really spend at the times where the attributed results that you can see in your payment processor, you can see the customers coming in, and especially for D2C, this is so important because all of those additional thousands of dollars can go unnoticed if you feel as if you're getting results that are satisfactory. You almost get a false positive feedback loop from Meta telling you that you're getting a certain amount of results and you having a set spend with Meta where you think that is acceptable. You need to keep pushing the barrier of what you think is acceptable to yourself, to your business, and keep checking that metric over and over. Just keep checking that metric over and over. So you don't know who I am, I'm Chai. I started Conversion Win about 1.5 years, 2 years ago, and I've worked with dozens of e-commerce startups, smaller stores, SaaS tools to help scale and grow the company. If we're looking at D2C ads in 2025, it's still one of the most used and prevalent paid acquisition channels out there, and there's a lot of ways in which these platforms are essentially stealing from businesses, making them overspend through deceptive tactics. And so the mission of Conversion Win is to claw that money back right from Google, Meta, TikTok, not let businesses overspend and put that money right back into business operations. And it's such a big problem where you're flying blind, usually with Google and Meta, on what customers are bringing you, and their default setups are so poorly done that you start to think that they do it on purpose. So I'm going to go through an exact 2 campaign system that took a betting brand from $2,000 a month in revenue to $50,000 a month in revenue. Now these guys, they were spending almost $10,000 a month in ads before they even crossed $10,000 a month in revenue. It's insane. So it was a classic example of scaling too fast. And as soon as we slashed their budgets down, we implemented server-side tracking. We started being extremely careful on every single customer coming in. We started implementing GA4. We started implementing daily GA4 reports, looking at their analytics and their web traffic, and also built out some third-party traffic sources for them. They were able to do this in just 4 months, and they didn't even have to go past $15,000 a month to do the $50,000 revenue. So that's how powerful really good attribution and a really good account structure from the basic level can help you. Some basic stuff. Complexity kills performance. If you're going to write down one thing from this video, that's it. Don't have 10, 15, 20 campaigns, and I've seen some with 100, 200, and people think that they're doing something advanced or they figured out the game. The reality is that more ad sets doesn't mean more results, and I'm just going to leave it at that. There's too many examples to count that prove that. No control, no clarity, and you get no consistent growth. You have 5, 6 strategies going on at once, and some of them are getting results. You can't really tell which ad set or which strategy is getting results, and therefore you obviously don't know what to continue doing. You're testing way too much. Your budget doesn't have room to test 20 ad sets, yet you're testing like you do have that budget. So if you're spending $5,000, $10,000 a day on ads, then it's completely fine to have 20, 30 ad sets, because that's the equivalent of having 2, 3 ad sets at $20,000 a month. Keep that in mind. So the betting brand, they came to us stock. They had 6 ad sets, nothing crazy, but the problem was they were scaling far too fast. They had no attribution set up. They were not able to tell how many sales were coming from which set of customers, and they had no real testing system. So people see that they get some results from an ad set, they shut everything else down in there, try to double out the budget, and they realize that that wasn't actually where the results were coming from. And now they're back to square one. They have to start spending massive amounts again, and they don't even replicate the result from the original ad set. You just lose results. You're paying for testing, and then you're forgetting about the follow-up, the important part, which is understanding the data that is coming from the test. So their ROAS was stuck at 1.2, which is all right, it's acceptable. It's not something you cut off the bat, but it's not scalable. If you add in all their other costs, it's not looking scalable. So after we reestablished their attribution, we cut their ad sets down to literally less than $1,000 a month. Like, that was the run rate. We went back to all of their previous year's data, looked at every single customer coming in, and we reestablished what we thought would be the most optimal strategy for them at their size. And that was 2 ad sets. This is a really good strategy. If you are still under 20, 30,000 a month in revenue, basically it means that you haven't found a massive level of scale yet. So we simplified everything to 1 testing campaign, 1 scaling campaign. In the testing campaign, absolutely aggressive testing. New hooks, and when I say testing, I mean 40 creatives a month. I mean, every single hook is different. It's being tested and tracked. Every format is proven and tested and tracked. And every 3 to 5 day window for testing is extremely, extremely strict. Whatever works from there, it's not like we shut it down. We bring that into a scaling campaign. We do a negative exclusion on the original campaign. And then now, you don't just blast budget into the scaling campaign either. You only bring in the most elite ads, and then you controlled scale them 1 sale at a time. If it takes 1 hour, it takes 2 hours, 20 hours. I literally sit, and my team sits with the scaling campaigns and watches the sales come in on our attribution dashboards. We don't trust Meta, we don't trust Google. We look for sales literally coming in by the hour, and we scale budget. There's absolutely a difference when you're spending $1,000 a day on your scaling ad set on how much you're spending throughout the day, throughout the week, and honestly, your entire business depends on this ad set. No matter what you have under here, your budget needs to be well maintained, and it can easily get out of control if you're not watching it or your team is not watching it. Now, this is something that is non-negotiable. When you have the most expensive part of your business, your scaling campaign, spending alone, it can't be at the whim of AI, it can't be at the whim of a robot, and it can't be at the whim of unclear. I just made a video about this, breaking down Advantage Plus. It's absolute bullshit, and it's probably a quick fix for you to go turn it off right now. Unless you know what you're doing and you're scaling at a higher level, Advantage Plus is not on your side. By month 4, these guys with just 2 ad sets brought their combined ROAS up to 3.5. That's beautiful. They were scaling and they are profitable. That's what we want for as many e-commerce stores as possible. This simplification process. It's nothing that takes a process that's not in your business. You just need to look at what you have in front of you in the right way. Most people think that the fastest way to solve their ad problem is spend more money. That's not the best way to solve your problems in paid acquisition. Especially when these platforms are designed to take your money. So for the weekly creative sprints, new hooks, videos, statics, DPAs, everything, 3 to 5 day test windows, scalable wins. These are the basics. I mean, you guys probably won't even be here if you don't know, these basic processes. What I'm trying to shed light on is how you're looking at these and how complicated you're making your own life by making 50, 60 ad sets to do the job of what 2 ad sets could accomplish and probably deliver you much clearer results and attribution. If you think you could be overspending on your meta ads, book a free audit at conversionwin.com. We'd be happy to take a look and see what we can do to save you some money. Appreciate it, guys. I'll see you in another one.